There's just so many impacts still left on the ground from 100 years of mining and so many different mining companies that have came in. Many of them that are saying the same thing that Stibnite or Midas Gold is saying right now, to where they're going to use mining to clean up the area. It just has never been true.
The East Fork South Fork Salmon River is part of the Aboriginal homeland of the Nez Perce people, or Nimipu, who have occupied this area since time immemorial. Located within their homeland, the Payette National Forest provides irreplaceable habitat for resources like fish, wildlife, and plant life that are culturally significant. In 1855, the Nez Perce entered into a treaty with the United States reserving its right to access and use these lands and waters for subsistence, cultural, and economic purposes.
The Nez Perce tribe has a lot of opposition to what Midas Gold has proposed, I guess, and how that is going to affect our treaty resources in that area.
We got to be able to leave this landscape in a better way than we got it. And by a mine like this going on the landscape, we would not be holding that promise to them.
Midas Gold, a Canadian mining company, is seeking federal approval to operate the Stibnite Gold Project, an immense open-pit mine that will impact over 3 square miles of land in this area. Midas Gold plans to extract millions of ounces of gold and antimony worth billions by excavating and processing over 100 million pounds of ore out of 3 open mining pits. To extract the gold, Midas Gold will literally move a mountain and change the course of a river.
So this mining operation, and you really can't get the gist of what the impacts that it has and how large it is unless you go out there and see it. It's massive. It's moving mountains, and what it's done to the landscape up there has just really been really a tragedy.
As a kid, I didn't fish a lot down there for salmon. We did a lot of trout fishing, but as reintroduction and the work from the tribe, the populations came back, and so we were able to reintegrate ourselves back into the area to fish for salmon and for trout as well. And so I think if this mining operation were to continue, then we would go back to as it was before, no fish.
It's one of the last remaining really healthy, and I wouldn't say there's not impacts, there's impacts to the South Fork salmon from land management activities. This is one of the healthier areas that really needs protection for salmon, for steelhead, and for other fish species.
They propose to build a 413-acre mine tailings storage facility, and another 431 acres will be used to store waste rock to manage 100 million tons of toxic waste they will generate. Both waste sites will remain in place after the mine is closed, and this may be just the beginning. Midas Gold has hinted that there's potential for further expansion of the project.
There's no ounce of gold or ton of gold worth exchange of extinction of a fish or a way of life.
Midas Gold claims that the Stibnite Gold Project will benefit the local economy and will leave the site cleaner than it was before. Polished and glittery promises based on pure speculation, not hard science. A 2013 study of 27 active gold mines found that all 27 experienced at least one pipeline spill or other accidental release. Even with the use of liners, 20 of those 27 mines failed to capture or control the contaminated mine seepage from their mine tailings, negatively impacting water, land, fish, wildlife, air quality, and vegetation.
These mine tailings and these things that they're saying that these liners that they're going to put in there that's supposed to capture all this pollutants is supposed to keep it there. But as we all know, liners leak, and over time they'll rip and they'll tear. And who knows what kind of an environmental disaster we'd be setting up for our kids, our grandkids, for generations and generations down the line.
The 7 mines that did not leak were not located near perennial streams and had extremely deep groundwater. The Stibnite Gold site has dozens of perennial streams, and the groundwater is extremely shallow, which significantly increases the dangers of contamination. The Stibnite Gold Project is a direct threat to the livelihood, health, and socioeconomic well-being of Nez Perce tribal members, surrounding communities, and future generations. Given this threat, the Nez Perce tribe opposes Midas Gold's project. The tribe instead is committed to restoring the area in environmentally responsible ways that support jobs and long-term enjoyment of the resource without further degrading the area.
Our fisheries program's been working to restore those fish runs in the South Fork salmon for over 25, 30 years. We've been down there. Our program, the Watershed Division's been working down there for about 15 years, and we've done a lot of accomplishments in restoring the landscape, the water quality, the fisheries in that whole area down there, and we've really seen the benefits of it.
The transition from when the animal people were the ones that ruled this land in our stories, and that the time when their voice was silenced, it was our people, the Nez Perce people, who took up that responsibility to be the voice for those that are no longer have a voice.
Tribal people believe everything is connected. And so as the fish go, you'll see other animals go as well. The grizzly bears, the flora and the fauna, it will change, a lot of that, because we're all dependent upon the fish. When the fish die and when they spawn out, that it creates a stronger ecosystem.
The tribe spends approximately $2.5 million annually in this region alone, restoring rivers, salmon, and steelhead fisheries, sustainably enhancing the area's natural resources, economy, and quality of life.
Our mother can remember the time when she would look up the river, it looked like a tidal wave coming at her. Those were fish coming up the river. And so those types of memories that our people have of that area are very important, and to continue those efforts and to continue the fight to be able to harvest in that area.
We advocate for these resources because we're a part of the resources. We are the resources. We don't separate ourselves from the land, from the salmon, from elk, from buffalo. We see ourselves on equal footing.
So it's not only our communities that rely on these fish, it's all those communities that are along their migratory path, 3 states and also another country. And so it just shows you the impact of those fish to all those areas, and all that connects us all together as one community, as one fishing community, whether you're tribal or non-tribal. It impacts all of us, and so any negative impacts, will have a negative impact to all of us, not just tribal people.
If Midas Gold succeeds in getting their Stibnite Gold Project approved, the people of Idaho will have allowed this Canadian company to make billions of dollars in profit from our own irreplaceable resources in exchange for pennies on the dollar, a few jobs, and empty promises. As a community, as concerned citizens, and as stewards of this land, do not let Midas Gold's shiny promises distract you from what is really happening. Gold mining companies are destroyers, not restorers. Dig for the truth.